Aloha. My name is Terry O'Connell from a small village on the windward side of Oahu, one of the islands in the island chain anchored deep in the blue Pacific. And I come on every month to tell you various things to see in Hawaii, because I look upon you as my ohana, my family. That's what they say in Hawaiian. My YouTube ohana. So I'm going to start off on the island of Oahu, and we're going to talk about the Arizona Memorial. It's the iconic, it's the most visited site in Hawaii. And they have 4,000 tickets free to give away every day. So I advise getting there early in the morning, 6 to 6:30, believe it or not, to get your free ticket. And the film and the boat cruise takes about 75 minutes roughly. You might have to wait for the boat, but anyway, it's an extremely moving thing to do. The Arizona Memorial, you'll pay about $2.75 if you take the bus from Waikiki, and it's about a half-hour boat or half-hour bus ride to the memorial. And it's a very moving thing to do. I did a documentary on the Pearl Harbor attack a few years back, and I went to England and I found some footage of the planes actually taking off from the carrier bound for Battleship Row, and here's what it looks like just briefly. Amazing, wasn't it? They came down the northern route, which is very treacherous. Anyway, the Arizona Memorial, be sure and visit it. That's on the island of Oahu. Now, on March 7th through the 20th, at the Honolulu Museum of Art, they have a Jewish film festival, the Kurt Kashmir 13th Annual Jewish Film Festival of Bar Mitzvah, 13th. And it's extremely good. It costs $75 for 8 viewings, 8 films. And they start off with Casablanca, opening night at 4 p.m. And $75. The film I would like you to see features Theodore Bikel. You recall Theodore from If I Were a Rich... Oh, I wish I could sing. If I Were a Rich Man. Anyway, Theodore Bikel, and it's called In the Shoes of Sholom Eldain. I believe that's the pronunciation. And that's going to be shown 3 separate times during the film festival. So be sure and take it in. Another movie will be the Keeping Up with the Steins, and that's a comedy. But the Casablanca, of course, we're aware of that. So it takes place on the Doris Duke Theater. Doris Duke was a wonderful lady. She was a philanthropist, was just a wonderful lady, and she had a mansion on Diamond Head on the shores of the Diamond Head area. And a friend of mine purchased a catamaran, a 50-foot cat, many years ago. And at times we would sail by the Doris Duke mansion, and we'd yell out, "Aloha!" And no one ever replied. Why would they? But when you're young, you do foolish things, don't you? So that's at the Honolulu Museum of Art. Be sure and take it. And the GPS, by the way, would be 900 South Beretania. So now we're going to go over to the island of Maui and sunrise from Mount Haleakala. And it is an experience you have to visit at least once. Now, it would take about 2 hours on the old Crater Road to drive up to the summit of Mount Haleakala, and it's a gorgeous scene. However, there are 2 mistakes that most tourists make, and I'm not going to call you a tourist, but be careful. And that, number 1, is dress warmly. It's at the 10,000-foot level. Actually 970 feet, 970 feet, so it's 10,000 foot level. But the temperature drops 3 degrees for every 1,000 foot above sea level. So that's a 30-degree drop. And people get up there and it spoils it sometimes because they don't dress warmly. So please dress good and warmly. Second mistake they make, after sunrise, sometimes they go roaring out of there. Well, after sunrise, the 30,000 acres of public land, Mount Haleakala, that's, I think, when God has a paintbrush, and he dips it in and he paints the greens and the deep greens and the crimsons and the reds. And you see this, like the landscape being pictured, being drawn right before your eyes as the sun touches various places. So stick around after sunrise and see the landscape. It's wonderful. One final thing, I'm making it short this time, but I would like you to go to Kauai and I would like you to take the Fern Grotto Cruise. Now, this goes up the Waialua River. Here's a picture of the river. And it's a gorgeous sight. And some people go there to renew their marriage vows, some to get married. I read recently that 3 out of 5 marriages end in divorce. That's a sour note to say, but I find it so hard to believe. I'm 89 years old. I guess I'm getting too old, but my golly. Anyway, the cruise is just gorgeous. So go to Kauai, take the Fern Grotto Cruise. It's beautiful. I got married on Kauai, by the way, in Lehui, and a little Catholic church many years ago. And for our honeymoon dinner, we went to Cocoa Palms, which is a very, very plush resort at that time. And during dinner, a man came over dressed in white with a red sash and presented my wife, my bride, with a night blooming cereus. And it was a bit the incongruity of the flower, sort of not an ugly flower. I mean, it was a nice gesture, but it was a rather odd gift. Now, the night blooming cereus, I want to show it to you. Here it goes. See how it blooms, then wilts. Well, anyway, after presenting my wife with the flower, he wandered off, and before he wandered off too far into the night, he said, "I wish you a long and happy marriage." Well, that was 53 years ago. So maybe it worked, maybe the flower worked. Let's hope it works for you too. Well, that does it for this time, and I'll be back, of course, next month with another Where to Go in Hawaii. So on behalf of my bride, Lorraine, her eyes are just as sparkly as they were then many years ago, my daughter, Heather, who is finishing college, and my 2 grandchildren, Danielle and Dominique, I wish all of you mahalo. Thank you for watching my little video, and have a wonderful life. Make the most of it. I'm 89 and I'm still chugging along. Aloha.